Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and I have a batch of paper mache clay made up right now because I'm working on my Basset Hound. So I thought this would be a really good time to talk about a question that I get maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, actually. And I've been getting that question ever since I came up with the paper mache clay recipe, and that is paper mache clay waterproof? Now I know that pretty much everybody knows that if you make a sculpture out of paper strips and paste, the traditional way to do it, and you don't cover it with anything, you don't protect it in any way, and you stick it out in your yard and let it get rained on, it's not going to last very long, right? And we all know that. But paper mache clay, even though it was initially intended to replace paper strips and paste, that's what it's for, but it is very different when you're applying it. It dries really super strong and hard, and so it's kind of natural for someone to assume that that strength and that hardness would also mean that it's waterproof, but unfortunately that's not true. Every single product that goes into paper mache clay is water soluble, so that's kind of the opposite of waterproof. I also know that just saying that is going to be a little bit controversial, and people are going to say that you can put it outside. If you just do this or that or the other thing to it, you can use paper mache clay outside, which in some cases is true. But if you disagree with me, I hope you still will write a comment down below, because YouTube really likes comments and they'll show my video to more people. So do disagree with me if you like to. I like that. But if paper mache clay isn't waterproof, why are so many people using it for Halloween decorations out in the yard, or for Mardi Gras or Halloween masks, or for parade floats? People are using it outside temporarily by putting some form of exterior varnish over it to protect it, at least temporarily, to keep the rain off. That coating itself doesn't make paper mache clay waterproof. But if you can find something that keeps the water away from it, then you can temporarily use paper mache clay sculptures outside. But I'm saying temporarily because, this has been what I found to be true from my own experience and other people who use paper mache clay a lot, especially for Halloween decorations, for yard art. It's just not going to last permanently, because the coating, even like spar varnish, what you would expect it to be a permanent waterproofing skin, because it's used on boats, so it seems like it should be a permanent, completely, absolutely, totally waterproof skin over paper mache too, but it's not. Somehow or another the water does get in, and as soon as the paper mache clay itself starts to absorb that water, even if it's a little bit, then it starts to soften. So you have to assume that it's not going to last forever. Now, something that I didn't know in time for my tortoise is that even though it does get soft, you can bring it back in the house and dry it out again, and it will harden back up. If you dry it out fast enough, put it in front of a fan or over a heating vent or something so it dries out really quickly, and then keep it stored in a nice dry place, and you can use it again next year. That idea came to us from the Ghoulish Cop. He told us a couple of years ago that he uses paper mache clay all the time for his Halloween decorations, and they always get soft. No matter what he puts over it, it's still going to soften, but you can save them anyway by drying them out again. When I made my tortoise, I didn't know that. So I put him out there with the marine varnish on top of him, because I had read articles that said that's the way to do it. You can protect paper mache clay, or any kind of paper mache, with marine varnish, and you can put it outside permanently. People swore that was true. At least one person did. And it turned out to not be the case, and my tortoise got all soft and mushy. I didn't know that I could save it and bring it back inside. I really liked that tortoise. I wish I had not thrown him out, but I didn't know. And none of my experiments to permanently protect paper mache clay have worked, so I don't recommend it for permanent yard art. But that saying, there are people who claim that Flex Seal on paper mache clay will permanently protect it from the water. And our friend Linda wrote a guest post for us. She's in Florida. She created a big mushroom and she put it out in her yard, and it has been rained on. Probably a couple of hurricanes have blown through. It was made 2 or 3 years ago, but she recently got a hold of me and said it's still just fine. She used Flex Seal over it and no problem. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for everyone, and I don't know why. Our friend Susan showed us a life-size wolf that she made out on the Daily Sculptors page of ultimatepapermache.com. She used Flex Seal to protect it, then painted it and put him outside. First time it rained, it got all soft and mushy, and she was afraid she wasn't going to be able to save it. So why did it not work for her and it does for Linda and for other people who have used it? I don't know. It's possible that Flex Seal, the brand, has so many different products within that brand that she might have used a different product than what other people were using. I don't know. But because it doesn't work for absolutely everybody, I can't recommend it. The other possibility is something that our friend Warren came up with, and that is to recognize the fact that the ingredients of the original paper mache clay recipe are all water soluble, therefore not waterproof. But what if you made something that worked basically like paper mache clay, but with different materials in it? And that's what he did. He did some experiments, used a lot of the original ingredients. I think he's got the glue and the drywall joint compound and the paper, of course, but he added Portland cement to it. I haven't tried his recipe yet, but he lives in Australia. He put out the guest post about his recipe and about the giant pots that he made. And he just got back to us a couple of weeks ago, I believe, and said that his pots are still doing fine. They've been outside for at least 2 or 3 years now, and they're still doing great. So if you want to make some paper mache clay item, you want to use mostly the same ingredients and you want it to work basically the same way, but with the addition of something that would actually make it waterproof, then go ahead and check out Warren's guest post. I'm going to put a link to it down below. He did respond to us recently, so I think he's still checking that post. So if you ask him a question, he might be able to get back to you. It's been a little weird in Australia for the last month or so. Hopefully he hasn't been impacted by the fires or the floods. But you might want to give him a little bit of time to respond. We don't know. But I do hope that if you experiment with his recipe, please let us know how it works out. It could be kind of like the Flex Seal. Maybe it worked for Warren and it won't work for other people. I don't know. I haven't actually tried it. I keep thinking I will, but it does have Portland cement in it. And where I live, Portland cement comes in really big, heavy sacks, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't really like carting really heavy things out of my truck. Not that I'm getting old or anything, but, well, maybe a little. Anyway, I hope that answers that question. Basically, today I just wanted to put out a video with "Is paper mache clay waterproof?" right in the title, so that it would be really easy for people to find the answer to that question, because so many people want to know. This fellow, he's obviously not done yet. You can still see that his foil armature is still showing in a lot of parts, but he should be done in a couple of days, or at least the paper mache clay should be. I'll put that video out as soon as I can, so be sure to watch for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell thingy so that you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Or if you're watching this in the future, look for the Basset Hound playlist on my channel so that you can see all the videos that came out for this guy. But in the meantime, go make something and then come visit me, ultimatepapermache.com.